What's more important, degrees, certifications, or experience? What's up, everybody? This is your boy Tech G back with another video. And in this video, we are going to be talking about what's more important, getting degrees, getting certifications, or having experience when it comes to attaining success in the IT industry. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's talk about degrees, certifications, and experience. I'm going to go ahead and give you some pros and cons of each so that hopefully you can use this information to make an intelligent decision as to how you want to proceed with your future career in IT. So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Here are some of the pros of a degree. So the number one pro is it is a sign of accomplishment and dedication. Meaning if you have the time and the energy and the patience to sit there and pursue a 2-year, 4-year graduate's degree or a PhD level degree, that shows you have a lot of dedication, dedication towards starting something and pursuing it and hopefully successfully finishing it. And that can look good to a prospective employer because it shows, hey, you are not a quitter. You start something and you finish it all the way through. Another pro is oftentimes degrees when it comes to entering the IT industry can be universally accepted, meaning if you have a degree in basket weaving or something like that, and you're trying to get into IT, a basket weaving IT degree is not necessarily going to be a hindrance towards you or a roadblock towards your success for successfully entering the IT field. So you don't really have to worry too much about that as you are transitioning or getting started in IT, I should say. Another pro is pursuing a college degree can give you a wide variety of exposure to various disciplines and perspectives, meaning you're not just becoming the stereotypical computer nerd who's sitting somewhere in your mother's basement or in a closet somewhere just click-clacking away like you're a little hacker or something like that. Meaning you have hopefully widened your horizons, expanded your brain to look beyond just the technical IT bubble to where you can look at other scenarios, look at other events taking place, and apply critical thinking to them in order to solve whatever problems may be presented towards you. Another pro is it can help you develop business acumen and analytical skills. So when you're going to work for a company in IT, yes, you'll probably be sitting around click-clacking away, plugging in network cables or doing some other higher level stuff, depending upon what tier in IT you work. But you might also have to utilize certain business skill sets here and there to try to get things done. So, for example, you might be tasked with ordering computers from Dell or from somebody like that, and you got to go in there and negotiate prices with Dell to see if you can get X amount of computers at a certain price or something like that. So, a business acumen and analytical skills that you can learn from attaining a degree could possibly help you be successful in IT. And another positive is that a degree, when you are in the IT industry, not necessarily an IT degree, but a degree can possibly help you move up to management positions. Because if you guys go out there, you start looking for jobs and you see that they're offering jobs for management positions, oftentimes they do require a college degree. So that can potentially help you if you have plans of moving up to management and higher. All right. So let's go ahead and look at some of the cons associated with a degree. So here are some of the cons. A degree may not necessarily prepare you for success in the workplace, meaning just because you have a college degree, that doesn't mean that you are going to automatically just walk into a workplace just with your degree and all of a sudden people are just bowing down and worshiping you like you are the man or the woman out here because you know everything about IT because you went to school to get a degree. That's not how this really works, ladies and gentlemen. So that could be something against you if you are only focusing on getting a college degree. Also, when it comes to degrees, is your degree even related to IT? I know I said earlier that getting into IT with a basket weaving degree might not hurt you, but there are some career fields in IT where a basket weaving degree can potentially slow you down, because some of these jobs are going to require you to have a degree that is related to an IT discipline of some sorts. And also, when you do, let's just say you do have a IT degree, just because you have that IT degree, like I said in point number one, that does not automatically make you a subject matter expert in IT. It means that you know how to read books, you know how to study, and you know how to pass exams, you know how to go to class and learn the theoretical aspects surrounding whatever discipline in IT that you're pursuing. But that doesn't automatically translate into you being a subject matter expert in the field or the work environment, to where you have to take those theoretical skills and apply them in real time. And here's another con. This is probably the biggest one. Degrees oftentimes cost way more money than certifications. So let's just keep that in the back of your mind as you're out there trying to consider or contemplate whether or not you want a degree. Is look at the cost of college. Now, I've been out of college for quite a few years now. I don't know what the cost of college is these days, but I'm just going to imagine if you were pursuing a 4-year degree and beyond, and depending upon what institution you go to and whether or not you're going to do your schooling online or go there to sit in class at the actual campus, you could be looking at paying anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 just to get a piece of paper saying, hey, you know something about IT. So that's something to consider, ladies and gentlemen. Next, let's talk about certifications, the pros of certifications. So first point is certifications are often valued higher by IT hiring managers than degrees, meaning certs trump degrees as far as I'm concerned, meaning they look more impressive, and an IT manager is more than likely going to think more highly of you because you have a certification as opposed to just having a college degree. Also, IT certifications, they prove how up to date you are in your IT skills. I mean, you go take an IT cert, on that certification, they're gonna have a date stamped on there saying when you got certified and when that certification expires. And it's going to say also on that cert, what cert that you were actually certified in. So let's just say you're going for the latest IT fundamentals or the latest A+, what is it, 220, 1001, and 1002 for the A+ certification, right? That is the latest and greatest A+ certification out there on the market. And if you get certified in that, and guess what? You are up to date as far as paper is concerned, up to date with the latest and greatest technologies that CompTIA and the general IT industry deems as important as it relates to that certification. Another pro for having a certification is organizations do not have to train you from scratch, meaning they don't have to take somebody off the street who doesn't know anything about computers, hire this person, then spend all types of money and resources into training this person to get up to speed with what a computer is or whatever it is that they've been hired to do. When you have a certification and you're coming into a job interview, or you're just applying for a job in general, you having the certification shows that, hey, you have taken the time out of your own schedule to go ahead and learn these technologies or these systems that this job is requiring you or hopefully requiring you to already know something about prior to getting the interview and prior to getting hired. Also, another benefit, some certs clearly indicate how dedicated you are. Now, some certs out there are relatively quote unquote easy to get. And then there are some certs that are extremely hard to get to where it feels like you are actually going to college to learn these certifications. And so the more advanced certifications you get, the more advanced certifications you get, that can show a true dedication to the craft or the IT industry in general. So that is a plus when it comes to you looking to get into IT as well. In some instances, certifications can be a substitute for a lack of experience. So let's just say that you're applying for a help desk job and you're going up against another candidate for the same job, and you have the A+ certification and this candidate doesn't have anything and no experience. Well, both of you don't have experience, but being that you have the certification, the hiring manager might look at you more strongly because he or she has seen that you have taken time to learn about computers, at least on the basic elementary level, and go get certified in it. So At least on paper, you look like you know what you're doing, or at least you have a better understanding of what the requirements of the job are compared to the other person who doesn't have anything. Also, certifications can make you more marketable. So as you start stacking certifications up on your career on your path towards entering the IT career field, the more relevant certs that you have as it directly relates to the jobs that you are applying for, well, the more marketable you become. And then also another pro is that certifications are typically way cheaper than a college degree, meaning some certs like the IT fundamentals, it costs $123. The A plus certification costs about $220 per exam. Let's just say you went out there and spent, let's just use the IT fundamentals, for example. You bought the exam at $123. You bought about $100 worth of study materials. You bought $100 worth of books or something like that. You're looking at what, like $300, close to $400 and something just to get the IT fundamental certification exam, as compared to you sitting in a classroom or taking online classes to try to get a 2-year, 4-year graduates or PhD level type of degree. The prices, the difference in prices can be astronomical when it comes to pursuing certifications versus that of pursuing formal college degrees. Now, here are some of the cons associated with an IT certification. So the biggest con is when you are out there looking for a job in IT, oftentimes the majority of these jobs do require you to have some type of certification. That's just, you go on Indeed, you go on Career Builder, you go on Monster, you start reading the details of the job. 9 times out of 10, you're going to see something on there saying that a candidate must have such and such certification in order to apply for this job. And if you don't have the certification, chances are your resume will not even get looked at. Also, when it comes to certifications do have a shelf life in most instances. So I know when it comes to a lot of the CompTIA exams or certifications, they have a shelf life of about 3 years. So if you got a certification today in 2023, that thing will be expired unless you do something to re-up the certification, meaning you're taking what they call continuing education classes, or you go get a higher level cert. And if you get a higher level cert, it'll automatically renew the lower level cert. When it comes to certifications, you oftentimes have to prepare on your own, meaning you're going to have to go out there, buy the books or enroll in some type of courses and, get the studying on your own. You're going to have to block off about an hour a day, 2 hours a day, or however you feel you need to get it in. But you are going to have to sit down and oftentimes learn this stuff on your own, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to have to foot the bill for this in most instances, especially as you're getting started out. Now, if you're already working for a company and you're trying to study for a certification, most companies, or I should say it would probably be in your company's best interest to do this, but most companies will oftentimes pay for your certification, meaning you might have to go out there and pay the cost up front. And then if you pass, they will reimburse you, or they may give you a voucher to go pay for the exam. Also, certifications, they do not guarantee a job. So just because you have the A plus, the Net plus, Security plus, or whatever certification you have, and you're trying to apply for that help desk job, that doesn't mean that you are automatically going to get that job. There are all types of factors that go into place that hiring managers look at to determine if a candidate is a right fit. Now, like I said, don't get discouraged, but certifications can help you look good, but they will not automatically get you into the door. But it is still advised you go get the certifications. Also, certifications, they cannot be a substitute for real world experience. Now, I know I said on the last slide that in some instances they can, but when it comes to the order of importance here, experience trumps everything. So let's go back to this example of you applying for a help desk job and you have your A plus certification and you're going against this other person who doesn't have any certifications. Well, what if this other person has experience, meaning they've been tinkering around with computers for like the last 5 years, but for some reason they never went and got the A plus certification. And you, just 2 or 3 months ago, you decided, let me get into IT and let me go get this A plus certification. Well, if that candidate can provide documented proof on his or her resume that they know what they're talking about when it comes to breaking down a computer and all of that stuff, well, they might outshine you when it comes to who the hiring manager is going to potentially want to hire. Also, depending upon what certification you get, it can limit your scope. So when it comes to CompTIA, they are called vendor neutral certifications, meaning that the knowledge that you learn in these certifications can be applied to a variety of different technologies. When you start dealing with vendor specific certifications like Cisco certs or some Microsoft certs, they're only teaching you stuff that relates to their product. So whatever Microsoft cert that you're dealing with that's teaching you about whatever it is that you're learning about, that knowledge can only be applied to that program. Or if you get a Cisco certification, that knowledge can only be applied to a certain Cisco product, as opposed to you taking that same knowledge and applying it to another vendor who has a similar product. Another thing, anybody can go out there, study for about a good 2 weeks to a month or however long, and go pass a certification. People do it all the time. That doesn't mean that they know what the heck they're talking about. That just means that they are good at taking tests, memorizing questions, and passing exams. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are true experts and understand exactly what the heck they're talking about. All right. Let's talk about experience, ladies and gentlemen, the pros of experience. So when it comes to experience is king out on these streets, ladies and gentlemen. It is the number one thing that you want to have. It trumps certifications and it trumps degrees, as far as my professional opinion of 18 years is concerned. And so here are some of the pros of experience. One, you develop a master of soft skills. So not only are you technically proficient, meaning you know how to click, clack away and do what you got to do with your IT job, but you also have other skills associated with the job as it relates to just dealing with people in general, meaning you might be good at managing a team. You might be good at negotiating contracts. You might be good at negotiating things over here, doing things over there. You're not just a subject matter expert that's sitting in a broom closet, click clacking away on a computer where nobody's looking at you. Also, experience can make you more worthy. So the more experience you have, the more valuable you can appear on a resume, because it shows that you have a consistent work history, a documented work history saying that you have been doing X, Y, and Z for the majority of your career. And hopefully you have been progressing through various stages, meaning you started off at tier 1 doing help desk. Now you're tier 2 doing help desk. And maybe you decided, you know what, I want to venture off into cybersecurity or something like that, or go deeper into networking to where now you got your A+, Net Plus, Security Plus, and now you decide, let me go get my CCNA, and now you're just the networking guru out in these streets. So experience can make you look more worthy, which can be a bonus when it comes to applying for jobs and potentially getting the job. Also, it upgrades your applications and your interviews. So like I said, if you compare yourself up against somebody else's resume, and y'all are competing for the same job, and this person has a gazillion certifications on here, and you got like 2, but you have like years of experience, you are more than likely going to get the job because you can actually walk it like you talk it. All they can do is just essentially talk it. Experience also gives you more options to choose from. So when you go out there on Indeed, oftentimes you'll come across a lot of jobs, especially as you get to the mid-level and upper-level jobs that say experience is needed. Well, guess what? There's a whole bunch of them jobs out there that somebody trying to enter IT can't compete for because they don't have the experience to go after those jobs. Also, that gives you, I guess that leads right into the possibility of having better offers. So it's essentially the same point like I said before. Also, experience allows for you to hopefully be able to maneuver and work in a variety of different environments. So like I said, you may have started off in help desk and you're answering phones and click clacking away, but then next thing you know, you might be somewhere out in the field doing something with whatever company you're working with, and you can maneuver and operate out in the field in the exact same manner that you are in the office, stuck in cubicle land somewhere. So that's what experience can do for you. And also experience can increase your independence. And what do I mean by this? Somebody hires you with experience, they assume that you kind of know what you're doing, and they don't need to necessarily stand over your shoulder and micromanage you the entire way. They could just essentially give you a task and expect you to go out there and execute it with hopefully a high degree of success. as opposed to somebody who doesn't have the experience, who may need to ask 50,000 questions or have somebody standing over them watching them as they click clack away to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing in the correct manner. All right. So let's talk about some of the cons of experience. So here's some of the biggest cons that I can think of. When it comes to experience, a con that could potentially, be a problem is negotiating your salary. So the more experienced you are in IT or in any profession, you should know what your worth is as it relates to your salary. So let's just say whatever it is that you do in IT for X amount of years, you know that the market says you should be getting paid $50,000 a year. So every job that you apply for, hopefully you're going to be applying for jobs that start off at a bare minimum of 50,000 and above. But here's the problem. This might be problematic for the employer because the employer, they might like you, they might like your resume, but they might have a candidate who might not have as much experience as you, but they're willing to do the job for $40,000. So now you got to compete up against that and really sell yourself to make sure that you can secure this $50,000 job that you feel you are worth, because your experience, education, and all this other stuff said, and the market says that this is what you are worth. So you have to really sell that to the employer so that they don't just give you a job to somebody else for $10,000 cheaper. Also, another thing when it comes to experience might dominate the offer than your skill set. And what I mean by this is you might go into a job interview and be like, I am a subject matter expert at this right here. They might look at your overall experience and be like, okay, well, you look like you would make a great office manager. You have management skills over here. You got people skills over here. You got soft skills over here, but you went in there because you wanted to become the subject matter expert in dealing with networking equipment. So that could somewhat kind of play against you a little bit potentially. And also experience could potentially lessen your options. So being that you do have a lot of experience in a certain area, when you go out there looking for jobs, you may or may not find a bunch of jobs that are looking for a subject matter expert that's dealing with networking or cybersecurity. They might be looking for somebody who deals, jobs starting off at like 50,000 and above, dealing with something over here, something over there, but you're just a subject matter expert in this lane only. So that potentially could play against you. Also, when it comes to experience, there is a pressure on handling expectations. And what I mean by this is being that you have put on your resume that you have all types of experience doing something here and there, they're going to expect you to perform like you know what the heck you're talking about. They're not going to be really looking forward to you asking too many questions. After they initially train you up and get you running, they're going to expect you to hit the ground running full speed with minimal questions, just going out there and executing so you can go ahead and collect your paycheck and go home and be happy. And also when it comes to experience, sometimes the more experienced you are, the more demands that they will put on you, which could lead to a poor work-life balance, meaning there is a chance that you might find yourself in the office all day long, or you might find yourself on call because you sold yourself as the man or the woman out in these streets, and now they're going to treat you accordingly, which means they want to see you be the man or the woman out in these streets by being in that office click-clacking away for 10, 12 hours a day, however long they want you up in there, or having your phone glued to your hip, ready to answer the phone at the drop of a dime. That's just the reality of how this industry can work sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So with all that said, here's the thing. I don't want anybody to get discouraged. I know I gave you a lot of cons out there, but you got to understand this is just the reality of the workforce in general, regardless of what industry you go into. When it comes to IT, what I really want to drive home is this. I believe you need a combination of all three. You need degrees, certs, and experience. Well, let me back that up. I'll say you probably need more of a combination of two: experience and certifications. Degrees, that's really going to depend upon what job that you are going into or what job that you are trying to apply for as to whether or not a degree is required. And then it's also going to depend upon whether or not you want to move up to management and beyond as to whether or not a degree is an important piece of is an important part of the overall criteria that you need to be successful. So I think there's a combination of all three, but a heavy emphasis on experience and certifications as it directly relates to IT, because the experience says, the certification say you can go out there and talk it real good. The experience says you can go out there and walk it and talk it real good. And if you want to become a high income earner in IT, you're going to need degrees. You're going to need experience and certifications to make that happen. And you may or may not need a degree to make that happen. So, like I said, I think there is a combination of all three, but a heavier emphasis on certifications and experience in order to become successful in IT. All right. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And also don't forget to visit my website, technologyg.com, for more information. I have my IT fundamentals course up on the website now, and I will be posting my A+ course hopefully in the coming weeks so that you guys can get up to date on the latest and greatest and go out there and be successful in the industry of information technology. And until next video, ladies and gentlemen, peace.